A few pieces of clothing is all the Ahmadi family has left. They're dependent on handouts from their neighbours. 4 people sheltering in a 6-square-metre storage room on the roof of an apartment building in Athens. The Ahmadis fled Afghanistan 8 years ago.
My wife was promised to her cousin, but she didn't want to marry him. So we decided to get married against the will of our families. The village elder threatened to force our daughter to marry at age 10, as restitution, so to speak. So we fled.
Their families kept threatening them and pursued them all the way to Europe. They applied for asylum in Austria, but after a year and a half, the authorities suddenly sent them back to Athens, where they first set foot in the European Union. In Athens, there's no room in asylum hostels. The Ahmadis do their laundry in a church building. They improvise without heating or running water.
I
don't understand why they sent me, of all people, back. So many other families have entered the European Union through Greece, and the Austrians didn't send them back. I haven't committed any crime, but the others are permitted to stay. Why did they punish me and my family?
The Greek Refugee Council, a non-governmental organisation, is advising the Ahmadis free of charge. The attorney listens to their story, but there's not much she can do. Every month, about 50 refugees are sent back to Greece from other EU countries, including Germany. Most of them end up on the street, waiting for months for their applications to be processed. The system is inhumane.
And when they told you were going to come back to Greece? If you have about 20,000 asylum applications and you only have about 800 places, you can understand that the magnitude of the problem. So the family that you've just interviewed have been waiting for over a month now for a place. That's not surprising. That is actually the rule, not the exception.
The new socialist government has promised to improve the situation of refugee families, but pushes responsibility onto the other EU countries. After all, they are parties to the Dublin Agreement on immigration.
It doesn't sound very fair today. Maybe situations were different when it was signed, but now the huge flows of immigrants in Greece, immigrants that do not really want to stay here and want to proceed to other European countries, I think that needs a different approach and an agreement that shares the burden between all the countries.
For the refugees, that sounds like a mockery. Greece seldom agrees to any asylum application, so refugees depend on support from non-governmental organisations. The Catholic charity Caritas provides a warm meal once a day, but only those who come early can be sure they'll get any. According to an international agreement, asylum seekers have a right to basic necessities, but in Greece they depend on alms. The situation is humiliating.
It's horrible. I want to take care of my children. I want to work, but I can't find a job here. I have to bring them here to give them something to eat.
This police station is a symbol of the refugees' hopeless situation. Every day, hundreds wait to finally submit their official application for asylum. While the camera rolls, the officers are friendly to the Ahmadis and address their problem immediately. But that's not always the case.
A few weeks ago, we had an appointment for our asylum application. We waited outside for 3 hours. Then they told us they had no time and we should come back again at the end of December.
The situation may seem hopeless, but more and more Afghans keep coming. 3,000 or 4,000 of them live on the streets of Athens alone. The Ahmadis are doing everything to spare their daughters a forced marriage in Afghanistan. The girls' only playthings are old bird cages that a prior tenant left in the storage room. Simin Ahmadi regards them as a cynical symbol.
We aren't in prison, but it feels like we are. We can't leave. We're incarcerated, even without bars.
Their goal is still a return to Austria, and they've filed an appeal against their deportation to Greece. It's their only ray of hope for a life in freedom.